Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we're going to be talking about my 19 ways to win deck. I mean, technically I could make it 20 if I went in and changed it over to gates and stuff in the mana base, but I wanted to keep it at 19 just because I thought it was funnier than going for the full 20. But basically, what am I talking about here? So this Secret Lair deck has been fully announced today, and they have shown off the cards for it and everything, and oh man, the minute I saw it, I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest. I think it's a little bit kind of all over the place. I think that, you know, it's kind of, it kind of feels like someone's kind of taken 20 win cons and put them all together. So if you don't know, the win cons are commander damage, reduce people's life to 0, have an opponent draw a card from an empty library, which I don't like. There's not even a way for that one to be in here. So I guess I have 20 if I'm just going to include that one myself. I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of them are just really dodgy. Like, you know, Biovisionary has like one combo in there. The Demons one, I guess, is like you need to have the Maskwood Nexus out for it. The Felidar Sovereign is good. The Test of Endurance is good. You know, there's a lot of really great ones in here, but then there's some that are just kind of, as I said, dodgy. So I went and made my own version of this. Now, my version, I will say straight out the box, is very much more combo orientated, and there is a lot of combo based stuff in it. If you have a look on Spellbook, comparing the actual precon here, you've got 2 combos. Within mine, you've got 13 different combos to be able to win the game. With these different like infinites and stuff, like, you know, there's different infinites that are going to help you towards it. So this is my 19 ways to win the game. As I said, you know, it could be 20 if I wanted to, but it's not. So the first one here is going to be combat damage. The second one is going to be just reducing someone to 0. That's just the way they did it, so I'm just going to say it as well. So we'll move on to the actual ones, and I'm going to start with the artifacts here. So we actually have 3 different win cons in our artifacts. We've got the Millennium Calendar, we've got the Halo Fountain, and then we've got Aetherflux Reservoir. So the Millennium Calendar, you need to get up to having that 1,000 time counters on it, and then you sacrifice it, deal 1,000 life to each opponent. We do actually, within our creatures here, I have added in, where is she? Zamone, Paradox Sculptor. So that way we're able to double the amount of counters on it. So we can double all those time counters. We also have a number of different ways to be able to proliferate in here as well, with the Dreamtide Whale. And then down here in the enchantments, we've got the Exonerable Tide. So we've got a few different ways to be able to proliferate there as well, to be able to potentially get us up to that 1,000. We've got Halo Fountain in here. So this one here is about, you know, untapping creatures, and then we get to, if we have 15 tapped creatures, we can pay 5 white, untap them. So the way this one works is being able to have a lot of creatures out, whether we've got stuff like, you know, the Chasm Skulker. If we, you know, pop that, we've got heaps of creatures out from it. Or we've got the Homunculus Horde. Each time we draw a second card, we're going to create a token copy of it, and they are just going to expand exponentially to be able to create an insane amount of different little dudes. So we've got a few different ways to be able to create, like, just basically lots of little dudes. That we can then use for the Halo Fountain there. I think there's even a combo with it, which is with, oh, where is it? Oh, the Sylvan Awakening. That was the other one. So Sylvan Awakening down here is going to turn all of our lands into creatures, which we can then use to be able to, you know, untap them all. Yeah, it's, yeah. All right. So moving on from our, oh, and then we've got Aetherflux Reservoir. Now, obviously, you know, this might not be a win con, or people might not consider it a win con. It is going to deal 50 damage to a person or a player, but all we need to do is turn this into a creature and give it lifelink. So we've got ways to be able to turn it into a creature with the Cyberdrive Awakener. Turn all artifacts into creatures that are 4/4, and then we're going to give it lifelink with, say, for example, the Abzan Battle Priest or the Envoy of Ancestors. You know, making it, the Envoy of Ancestors works really, really well with this deck. You know, I wanted to kind of tie it all together. This is the whole big change was tying it all together. So that way it didn't just feel like someone's taken 20 win cons and chucked them in here and hoped for the best. It feels like all the win cons kind of mesh together and work well together. So now moving into our creatures in here, we've got ways to be able to, when we put +1s onto things, draw cards, which, you know, Bumbleflower is going to be able to do that really well, and drawing cards is going to be, you know, going to create us more creatures, or get us our win con with Triskaidefile, or be able to create, you know, buff up our things, put +1s onto things, which is really good because our +1s are going to turn into, you know, other win cons and stuff. Great thing here is we've got Vegine Graft Mage as well, which is going to enable us to be able to untap creatures with +1s on it. If with the Kami of Hopes, those are a combo there to be able to create infinite mana, which we'll be able to dump into one of the other win cons I'll talk about a little bit later on. As I said, you know, about drawing cards, Laboratory Maniac works well with that as well, if we can deck ourselves out with it. And we've got combos with that down below with either Jace. Oh, well, both Jace and him work well with the Enter the Infinite, which is just exile your whole frickin' deck. You're going to put one card back on top of there, and then you just need to draw 2 cards, and boom, you're going to be able to win the game. Really, really cool stuff. Yeah, like just, you know, having more kind of combos to kind of work well with it. As I said, you know, more ways to be able to draw cards. So this one here is whenever a +1 counter is put onto it, draw a card. And then we've got ways to be able to put +1s on it whenever we draw cards with, like, the wizard class, for example, is whenever you draw a card, put a +1 on a creature. So now you've just got a way to be able to draw your whole deck and then win with the other win cons we've got in here. We also have Felidar Sovereign, which is going to let us be able to win the game if we've got 40 or more life at the beginning of our upkeep, and we've got ways to be able to create, you know, a huge amount of life. So that's an easy one for us. Now I do have the High Fae Trickster in here as well to enable us to give flash to things, and Kinnan as well to be able to let us play flash, to be able to let us do more stuff on other people's turns with Bumbleflower, and, you know, get more +1s or draw more cards or whatever we have. The same with Valley's Floodcaller here. Also, Scrawling Crawler is going to potentially be like another win con because we're going to be drawing cards and we're going to make other people draw cards. So it's not one of the ones that I'm including in the 19 win cons we've got here, but technically, you know, it's going to be able to potentially win you the game. 20-Toed Toad, they include it as 2 different win cons for some reason, so I'm including it as 2 different win cons. We've got ways to be able to draw cards. Heaps of ways to draw cards. We've got heaps of ways to be able to get counters. Boom. Council of 4 works well into both, like a whole bunch of different themes here, whether it's have a whole bunch of creatures with Halo Fountain, whether it's going to be drawing cards for all our other win cons that had draw cards, etc., etc. And Conclave Sledge Captain is going to work well into our Simic Ascendancy. I'm not going to go into all the ways we can get +1 counters because that's an insane amount of things. Epic Struggle, just have a huge amount of creatures. I've gone over that, how many creatures we can get out. Helix Pinnacle is one that is going to be interesting. So as I said before, we've got infinite, what's his face? Drop thingy, infinite mana with Kami and Vegine. So then we can dump that into Helix Pinnacle and win the game with that. We've got Test of Endurance for life. Boom, easy. I've talked about life a million times. Like, for example, we've got even like the Soul Warden here. Whenever a creature enters, gain life. And because we're going to be able to create a whole bunch of different tokens, those are going to gain us life. We're going to get a huge amount of life from that and a huge amount of stuff. All right, going into our instance here, the Officious Interrogation is to go with our mechanized production to just create clues and then create, you know, 8 or more clues. Boom. Easy win there. We've got technically, yeah. So that's going to win us the game at the start of the next upkeep. We've got like Riot Control to just create a whole bunch of life. We've got Snap, which is going to, you know, be able to play it on other people's turns and be able to allow us to get more Bumbleflower procs. Frantic Search, same, more Bumbleflower procs. Remand is going to be a combo with Approach from the Second Stun to essentially counter your own Approach from the Second Stun, put it into your hand, and then be able to play it again. boom, infinite. And then as long as you've got the mana to be able to do it, you're going to win. We've also got Jace here. Draw a card when your library's empty. Easy peasy. And then finally, Approach from the Second Sun. We've got a couple different ways to be able to do that, whether it's going to be having, no other cards in your deck, so when you put it back in there, you're drawing it again, or whether it's going to be like Windfall, so you play Approach from the Second Sun, and then put it down, and then you Windfall, boom, now you drew your Approach from the Second Sun again, and you can play it again. Or we've even got up here, as I said, the Remand, to counter it yourself, put it back into your hand, draw a card, and then play it again. So yeah, as I said, there's a bunch of different combos in here. So looking at them, you've got Approach to the Second Sun and Windfall, as I said. Enter the Infinite and Thassa's works well. Enter the Infinite and Jace. Enter the Infinite and... Where is he? 20-toed Toad. Infinite. Like that, Enter the Infinite is just going to go crazy with a whole bunch of different ones here. Lab Maniac. It doesn't go Infinite with Lab Maniac as well? No, I think you need to draw again to be able to win with Lab Maniac. Then we've got Fathom Mage and Wizard class to get a crazy amount of 1+1s, and then that works well into our into the Simic Ascendancy, and then it's Conclave works Simic Ascendancy. Benthic works with a Wizard class. Just this. That's the thing, is that I think that this was just like their version of it was just missing a whole bunch of combos. And like, if you're making a deck that is just a memey 19 ways to win of infinite odd combo, like not infinite combos, odd alternate win cons, then why not just lean heavily into it and just make it a combo deck and do some really cool stuff with that? So that's the way I've done it. There's other people who are going to think of other things. So mine's come out to 159 US. Theirs is currently 221 US. I believe they were selling it for 150 US dollars with the the actual Secret Lair. So when you go to purchase the Secret Lair, it's going to be 150 US dollars. So currently, I think personally mine is a better option, but who knows? That's not up for me to decide. That's up for you guys to decide. I would love to hear from you guys as to what you think. Oh, the actual other cool thing with Zimone is that you can untap her with the Vigian Graph Mage, as long as you've put a +1 onto her, untap her, and then double the counters again. So you can just, keep doubling them here as long as you've got the mana to be able to untap her with Vigian and pay her mana as well. So, there's a couple ways. Like, that's the thing, is that there's just a bunch of ways to be able to win with this deck. And I really, really love that. This is not my Bumbleflower deck. My Bumbleflower deck does have a whole bunch of alternate win cons. I didn't lean into some of these, but honestly, maybe I should change my Bumbleflower deck into this. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you guys as to what you think. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. And make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you share the video around and everything. I personally think that my version of it's better, but maybe you guys disagree. Maybe you guys prefer the one here. If you guys want me to do an upgrade guide for this as well, let me know, because there was, some people are going to get it and maybe you want to see it upgraded so that it's playing better or something. Like if we go into the Rex and click on combos, there's going to be a bunch of combos that are missing from this. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but personally, I'm a huge fan of, if you're doing alternate win cons, do them via combos and do some cool stuff that way. Anyway, have a great day and goodbye.